You are listening to the Visions, Missions, and Manifestations podcast, the number one place for spirituality, healing, and transcendence. I'm your host, Vivian Raquel Braha. Now let's get into it. I am so excited for today's episode. We have a fabulous, incredible guest. But before we get into today's episode, I'm really excited to share my new program called Get Rich. It's for coaches, healers, soulpreneurs who, if you're not making 20K income months on repeat, it's time to wake up. You are not put on this earth to live your purpose and still be broke. You are not meant to burn yourself out teaching 10 yoga classes a day at $20 or $40 each. Well, your gift, your power, your mission deserves so much more. That's why I created Get Rich. It's a 3-month mastermind where we collapse time on your success. I'm in your business helping you master the mindset and money energetics that actually hold wealth and the strategy that makes 20K months repeatable. Because here's the thing, strategy is only 20% of the game of success. 80% is energetics and mindset. And this is where we really anchor in. This isn't a course. This isn't fluff. This is a container that's going to change your life because you were never meant to chase your purpose and stress out about rent, about money at the same time. My favorite thing about Get Rich is that in December, we will be going on a retreat in upstate New York where we are going to up-level your business. You'll get testimonials from the other 5 women who are in this program, Get Rich. You'll get a photo shoot. We're going to do masterminding. So this is a place that you really want to be. If you know, you know, and if you don't, you're going to want to know. It's something I'm so excited about, something that I've been putting together for a while, and something that I know is going to transform your life. You can direct message me, Get Rich, on Instagram right now, or apply with the link in the show notes. This is something that you do not want to miss. This is so powerful. This is the time to say yes. If you know that you are meant for more, but you don't know how to get there, this is it. We are limiting the space to only 5 people. So run, don't walk, secure your spot. And I'll see you real soon. Now let's get into the episode. On today's episode of the Visions, Missions, and Manifestations podcast, we have Nomi Simhon, a guest who our listeners have requested multiple times. What intrigues me about Nomi isn't only how she's a mother and a yoga teacher, but also the authentic lifestyle that she lives, which we can clearly see if you're watching this episode on Spotify or YouTube. When inviting Nomi on, she said something like, I'm in my yes phase. I'm in my saying yes era. So, yes, that sounds fun. And some of the most interesting and successful people I know go through an era in their life where they're just saying yes. So, Nomi, without further ado, do you want to share to our listeners who might not know you or are learning about you for the very first time, what you do and how you serve?
Okay, sure. So, yes, hi, my name is Nomi Simhon. Nomi Sim. It is not Nomi-ism, just to clarify that. The way that I serve in my profession is I teach a movement class. It blends different modalities of movement and practices. Every class is really different because I don't plan the class. I go off of the energies and like what situations present itself to me. If there's something in common with every class, it is designed probably to help people find comfort in stillness and freedom in movement. My purpose is not necessarily the thing that I do, it's more what happens in others when I do what I do.
Do you have a lot of mic drop moments and things I want to impact for the person listening?
Let's do it.
Unpack for the person listening. So you said it's more about what happens to the person when you do what you're doing. Do you want to talk about what that is or what that means? What does that look like?
Sure. So I guess that relates also to like, how does it benefit, right? What are the
Mhm.
benefits to this? For me, it helps connect me back to myself. Like it gives me the time that I need to acknowledge what it is that I am sitting with. And we're always changing, right? We're always changing. And it's my time to check in back to myself. It's not like a check out situation, it's a check in. So I take the time to connect, to acknowledge, to accept what it is that I'm sitting with. And then I use the movement to help release what comes up. And it's not physical weight that I'm releasing, although that is part of the benefits, because yes, movement is a physical practice. And I believe that strengthening the body is very necessary to our overall well being. But it's also the emotional weight and the mental burdens that kind of strap us down or hold us down that, we want to let go, we want to release.
So, what I hear from a lot of my clients is, oh no, I'm changing. Where I'm changing is that bad. Or people are pointing out to me where I'm changing. And although it is a thing that they came to me to see, it is something that almost like stirs the pot when they start noticing the shifts. And you speak a lot about freedom and movement, which is almost like there's a freedom in change versus the comfort of stillness, which sometimes we can outgrow our environment. Although it feels comfortable to stay, it's not where we're meant to be. And how I like to look at that is like if you outgrow a shoe, you don't try so hard to make your foot fit in the shoe. You
Right,
buy a new shoe,
right.
right?
So, what I feel about change is okay. So, we as humans are creatures of habit, right or wrong?
Right.
We're used to routine. We like to do things the way we always did it. We're comfortable there. As soon as something changes, like a season changes, or a job changes, or a relationship, or whatever it is that's changing, it's we come into the unknown. We step into something that's unfamiliar, and I feel like that is what's scary, stepping into something new. But if we can remain present and curious and not so locked into the mind of how things always were and how they need to be, then there's freedom right there. We can tap into what is in the moment and stay grounded into the newness of the now and kind of surrender to the unfolding of the magic of the universe and allow this transformation to happen, because we're not meant to stay the same. It's so boring staying the same, the same, the same, the same. We need to change it up. Like, I just got a haircut, I just got bangs.
I love it.
I felt like I needed something new. And like, the girl who was cutting me, she's like, "You sure? You're positive?" I'm like, "Yes, let's do it. Yes, we're doing this." And so we're doing it. And that's what I have to say about change.
So you spoke about surrender and
Okay.
trusting everything unfolding.
Okay.
I find it's very easy to tap into that when you've been doing the work for a while, or you're
Okay.
surrounded by pe like-minded people with similar values. But if you're really the only one in your friend group or the only one in your friendships, your relationships, who has become self-aware and really starting to unpack the layers that have built up throughout the journey of life, what would you say to the person who is navigating trust and having a hard time surrendering to the universe and trusting that it's all working out?
Okay. So with this question, what is coming up for me is like the feeling of fear,
Mm.
of uncertainty, of fear. But for me, the antidote of fear is faith. So when I talk about surrendering and falling into like trust, it's me saying I am falling into faith, into God, the higher power, however you call it, the master of the universe, the one who is in charge of it all, the life force that's breathing life into this tree. For me, every time I become afraid and I feel like I can't trust in myself, I fall back and surrender into faith, into my loving, caring Father who's done everything for me, who's always been there for me. Um, I connect back to that, and I ask for the guidance, and I feel the protection, and I literally see God's hand in my life. And I may not see the whole pathway, right, exactly where I'm going, but I I like to believe that when I stay connected to my intuition, that it is guided from above, and I just put one foot in front of the other, I know at least my next step.
And what got you here? What got you to this strong faith? What led you on to this path of teaching and shining and serving?
Okay, so I've been in movement pretty much my whole life. My mother was my first teacher. Um, Movement is deeply rooted in my veins. My friends say when they see me dancing, stop thinking about it. It's not coming from here. It's coming from something like here. I don't know. But the pathway is proceeding and the way is always changing. For me, it was more about like physical exercise, physical postures, physical, the physical aspect of things. But injuries and trauma and illnesses actually is what led me into deeper healing, to finding modalities and practices and ways that help me feel better, do better, be better. And I'm always just like scratching the surface. It's a never ending journey. And it just evolved naturally.
So, how do you find yoga from dancing to yoga?
Okay, so actually a hip injury led me to yoga. I was a master Zumba girl, like in the front lines, jumping up and down, sweating, like, burning the calories, loving life, running there. Uh, and then I injured my hip. Like I was limping. I couldn't walk. And so I went to the doctor and he's like, yeah, you have an injury here. Here's the pill. Take this pill. But they always like offer, here's the quick fix, here's the pill. But also he said you should try yoga. And I said, yoga? I hate yoga. Why I can't do yoga. It's not for me. I hate that. Okay, he left me with that. But then, the universe, God, led me to this woman. Her name was Talia Sutra. That was the first yoga class that I ever took. She's from Israel and she actually came here to New Jersey. She was teaching a class. So I said, I'll go try it. There was something about her that I fell in love with.
Hmm.
It was it wasn't even her movement, and her movement was so beautiful. It was more her demeanor, her presence, her way of speaking, her energy that I was so attracted to, and I was like, whatever she's doing, I want to do that. And so that was my first yoga class that I ever took. It led me to this, to where I am now.
Isn't it so interesting how you're looking back? Because it's so much easier to see this looking back, but you were so destined to meet her.
With every person that we meet,
Every person that
right or wrong,
of course, and some people could see like a hip injury as like the
the worst
thing,
thing, yeah.
right? When really it's the biggest blessing. It's leading you to where you're meant to be.
And I can say that for so many obstacles, call them obstacles, injuries, illnesses that I've faced, that I encountered in my life that kind of redirected me. In my mind, I think I'm going this way, I'm going this way, I'm going this way. And then like, no, you're not going this way. You're going actually in a different direction. And yeah, in the beginning, it's like, no, why me? Why did this happen? Oh, it's the worst thing ever. But like you said, looking back in hindsight, it's like, oh, thank you, thank you, God. Yeah, I totally get it now. That makes total sense. I needed that, so thank you.
And it also teaches you that when you're in the moment, knowing this, that although it might feel so annoying and like you'd rather have had anything else happen, that it's actually your greatest gift. You just don't know what's underneath yet.
I'm a believer because I'm being vulnerable and open. Last year, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. What the hell? Me, I'm healthy. I do it all right. I meditate. I do yoga. I eat the right things. You must be kidding. Um, Hearing that was like when facing cancer, automatically, death, like just in the mind. I feel like facing death, and I know that I'm pushing it, like, to the worst case scenario by saying that word, but facing illness or, God forbid, death, I feel like is the quickest and best thing to wake a person up, like fully and completely. Um, and so I don't want to waste time. I recognize that life is precious, time is limited. Um, it's a gift to be here. I don't want to waste time. I always said, one day in the future I want to have a space. One day in the future I want to teach. One day in the future when my children are older. One day when I have money. One day when things are settled. When. But after going through, you know, cancer diagnosis, and thank God, but they caught it early because early detection was key. It spared me. I feel so spared by God. Yeah, I feel woken up, but I feel so spared. I did have a double mastectomy, but after getting news that it was, caught early and it didn't spread, and all of the, I'm okay, and like, you still alive, you still have life to live, and I just like took that invitation and like ran, like jumped for joy, and I feel so blessed and so grateful, and I want to stay in this energy field, and I want to use it. I want to put my focus and my energy and to use it into good. And so this summer, I had an opportunity to share space with my brother at the Floral Bar in Norwood to like just change the space up just to make it a little more versatile. And I jumped on it and I said, yes, let's do it. Let's have a space on Norwood. I need to put my energy into something that's creative and something that's good, because if I don't, my energy can kind of spiral. My mind could spiral, and it could lead me to like, that fear base. What if it happens again? What if it comes back again? What, Googling symptoms. I can't be in both at the same time. Like I need to choose one or the other. And so for me, after receiving the good news, I just
You
took this
jumped.
invitation. I dove. I didn't even jump. I dove. I was like, didn't even think of the logistics of it. I'm like, yes, let's do this. And I'm so grateful that I did.
Mhm.
Yeah, it was just a pop-up spot in a temporary location, but I learned so much, how to run a business, what it takes. I had to wear many different hats. I had to show up every day. Scheduling, payment, this, that, like so much goes into running a business. And I learned a lot from it, and I'm very grateful for the experience. And I'm not sad that it's over because I don't feel that it's over. I
It's
feel like
not.
yeah, it's just the beginning of something, and let's see where it leads to. And I'm taking with me the best memories, and I met the most amazing people who I probably wouldn't have even spoken to, like, in passing. But I made great connections, amazing conversations, eye contact. Like, Instagram is awesome. And I've been posting and posting and posting for like years, but it just feels like it goes into the abyss because it's like there's crickets, on the other side. You don't feel connection, you don't feel people, but being in a space and having these practices tangible and people coming through, and like you get to see people. It's like, here, like you, I can see you even though we're on the phone. Like I can
Right.
see you, I can connect to you, I could, like, share energy, and like that for me feels so fulfilling and so beautiful. And so I feel so blessed and grateful for that opportunity.
So I talk to all day different types of clients, but one of the things that I do is I help people up level their businesses, right? We manifest the next layer of your business. When it comes to anybody successful, it doesn't matter if it's just like they want to make more money, they want to manifest love, they want to find inner peace, whatever it is, the house. The people who are the most successful are the people who don't think. Now, I'm not saying they don't ask the right questions. They ask me, like, what does this look like over a 3 month period? They're getting the details they need. How much does this cost? What is the ROI, right? But they're never the person who says, give me time to think about it, or I'll let you know over the weekend. They're the people who are like, yep, Set me on. I'm all in.
Yeah.
But why? Because if you take that time to think, what you are going to do is lean into fear. And what you're
Take
going to
yourself out
do,
of it.
exactly, you're going to talk yourself out of it. You're going to listen to the what ifs, the doubts, the anxieties. What are people going to say about me? All of these things. And so the most successful people say yes to the most things because the more you risk, the more you succeed. It's like if you go to a raffle or a Chinese auction, you put one ticket in, great, you have a chance of winning. You put 15, you have a huge chance of winning, right? So it kind of reminds me of what you went through, where it was like, I don't want to wait. I don't want to put what I'm meant to do off because I could be doing it right now. Why wait?
This makes me very excited what you're saying
Tell
because
me.
even when you called me last week, right? And like, because you want to do this, I, I I don't know. I could think of a million and one reasons why no, like, I can't. I'm scared. Public speaking is my worst thing. Like, I'm petrified to do it. But what I learned is every time I'm faced with something that I'm scared to do, and I jump in without like thinking about it, just say yes. I learn, like, I grow from that
Yes.
experience. I had an opportunity to speak this summer at Table Set Go for the Morris Franco Cancer Center on their panel. And when they asked me, like, my first thing was, no, I can't public speak. That's the scariest thing in the world. But I couldn't say no to them because of what they did for me. I wanted to say thank you. And so that was what got me to like say the first yes. Um, but I'm so happy that I did. It was scary. I was sweating. I don't even know if I said the right things, but at least I got to say thank you. And after, I felt so good that I did it. I felt like, oh wow, like I transformed in that. I grew from that. I learned from that. So
You showed yourself what you're capable of.
yeah, I feel like our minds are very limiting.
Very limiting because they're meant to keep us safe. They don't know
Right.
what's on the other side of the limit.
Yeah.
And so we have to
Even
show it.
even I can relate to that in even yoga postures. You can see people, like, let's say you say, okay, warrior one or whatever. The first thing that people do is like rush to the end of the posture to stick the pose, right? Because in their minds, we think we can only go this far. And so it's, well, I'm going to stick it. I'm going to force it. I'm going to shove myself into the posture. Like, you know what I'm saying? But if we can disconnect from the mind and instead connect to our breath, your body will surprise your mind. If you can stay connected to how things are feeling and not push yourself to the end, because there's no end, there's always going to be more. So if you stay connected to the breath and allow the breath to open up the body, you're, like I said, your body will surprise your mind. And
Hmm.
I feel like the same thing with life. I don't know where I like what my goals are. I don't even think I have any goals. I don't know if that's bad or
I
good,
think
but
you do, though. I have to disagree with you. I think you have a very clear, if we don't want to call it goal, but maybe mission.
yes.
I, and, the difference between a goal, I
Okay.
feel like we put a timestamp on, whereas a mission is more like, it's my life's purpose. Like, this is what I'm
Yes.
doing.
Yeah.
But
I can relate to that.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel connected to my life's mission, my purpose. I feel like it's here to fix, like, the tikkun,
Hmm.
to fix what is broken. But it's not to fix what is broken in the world, because who am I to fix what is broken in this world? But I'm here to fix what is broken within myself. And I feel like all the work that I do is really healing me. Know me, healing, know me. But because it did so much for me, like, I can't just keep it for myself. I need to share it.
When
Right?
you do the work for yourself, though, what you're doing is you're giving other people permission to do the work on themselves. When people see, like in the beginning, when I started this, people are like, that's so weird. That's so, like, you hear the word woo woo all the time. And then I was like, I don't care. I'm still gonna do it. And I still, like, I was in kids yoga at like 8. And it was just so normal to me, so that when people would say it's weird, I was like, why? And I would do it anyway. And like you said, you almost feel selfish not to share it with other people because of everything it gave for you. When you do it and you're public about it and you show it, it gives other people permission to be like, oh, it's not weird. Oh, let me lean into that. And although we might feel like the world's too big to fix, when we fix ourselves, we're fixing a piece of the world, right? Because we're a part of it.
Yes, we send a ripple effect,
Hmm.
right? And we're not here to change the world or to change anybody because how hard is it to change our own selves? It's work, it's
It's
effort to
work.
change ourselves. It's a conscious choice. And so we can't do the work for someone else,
No,
right? So that's why, like, when they say, oh, healer, I believe that everybody is their own healer
I
because
agree.
nobody is going to show up for you. Nobody is going to do the work for you. Nobody's going to think for you.
Hmm.
And so we have to step into our own power. We have to make that choice at some point to say that, like, these thoughts are also a choice. I can
Hmm.
choose. I can choose to let my mind take control over me, or I can learn how to redirect my thoughts to a better place. And our thoughts are our engine. Everything starts here, right? All these beautiful, amazing ideas that we do, everything we created once started off as a simple thought. So yeah, I'm a believer in, or my focus is on, myself, my own energy, my own vibration, my own heart, what is going on within my own self, and try to heal that. And then yes, it does send a ripple effect, and the people around me benefit, the most. Um, and yeah, and I think that causes a chain reaction. So
We like mentioned very briefly the word mission. Do you want to
okay.
share what yours is, your big mission?
How about my message?
Let's hear your message.
I feel like we all need to slow down, Vivian. Where are we rushing to? What's the rush? Right? Our nervous systems are shot. We're in the constant fight or flight. Go, 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 do, run, 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 rush, 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 go, 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 be, la, 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 la. Out of control. So I feel like my message is just to slow down because life is happening here and now. Our minds are very interesting, right? It's always pulling us from the past to the future, and it's just robbing us from the beauty that's happening in front of us. So it's just like about disconnecting from all the distractions and reconnecting back to ourselves and our intuition beyond the noise. There's a path to the quiet and the mental chatter, reconnect back to our inner calm. It's like a coming back home to ourselves. And like you said in the beginning, peace, it's within us. It's never outside of us, right? If we're going to go and search for peace in the world, are we going to find it? It doesn't look so promising. But I can promise you this, that peace exists within every single one of us. And it's a place that we can keep coming back to again and again and again and again. All we have to do is remember. And there are simple practices and healthy ways to get us there. And so I guess that is my mission, to help share these practices, these modalities, these ways of being, to help people come back home.
And for the listener who's just starting out and they're listening to this episode, what is a tool that they can begin right now? An easy, simple tool.
Grounding in their presence. So let's talk about this. What's the difference between a steady, grounded presence versus a flighty presence to you?
Mm. To me, a steady groundedness is one that's confident in who they are, where they are, and their choices and their reactions. What was the other one? The static? Did you use?
Flighty,
Flighty.
flighty presence.
The flighty presence is one that is living in the future, very much in anxiety, very much in not enoughness, maybe even,
How about in the energy of our presence, right? We all carry energy.
For
So,
sure.
so a grounded presence would be somebody who is making eye contact, somebody who is
Ah,
connected to their breath, somebody who can hear you, somebody um, who's there, who's here, versus a flighty presence, somebody who can't make eye contact. They're checking their phone 9 times. They're cooking dinner. They're answering their phone at the same time. They're talking to their kids. They're here. They're there. They're everywhere, and they're nowhere. You feel the difference of the
for
energy just
sure.
in the way that I'm speaking.
Yes.
So if 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 I if I could share something to help somebody reconnect back to themselves, is just connect to where you are in time and space and use your senses to get there. So, right, we have these five senses and we're like disconnected from them completely because we're so distracted. But if we just slow down, right? And forget about calm down. Because if I say calm down, you're going to be calm? Absolutely not. F you. Don't tell me to calm down. I can't calm down.
Right.
But if I say slow down, like physically slow down, it's something that you can do. It can be challenging because it's unfamiliar, but you can physically slow down. And then connect. Where am I in time and space? Take a second to just kind of look around you and maybe notice five things that's in front of you.
Hmm.
Notice it in full detail, the colors, the shapes, the people, your surroundings. Then, if you want to take it a little further, connect to the sounds. Less talking, more listening. Try to listen to understand, not listen to respond. So if somebody's talking to you, a kid is talking to you, listen to what they're saying without even giving advice. Or better yet, if you're outside, just listen to nature without having to respond, without having to justify, just simply listen. I think that listening is a lost art. We're always filling the space with noise. Um, so listen to four things that you can hear, and then touch, right? A sense of touch. You're kind of losing that also. Or well, COVID like kind of ripped us apart, but we're coming back. We're coming back, to each other. But how about to ourselves? Like, feeling your hands, the temperature of your hands, or the temperature of the room on your skin. So three things that you could feel. How about the ground beneath you, whether you're standing or sitting? Make that connection. Feel your feet on the ground. Feel your sit bones on the chair. Feel the chair behind you. Feel safe. Feel held. Feel supported. How about smells? Catch your breath when you smell. Notice the smells in the room. And then while you're noticing the smells, notice how it feels to breathe. Our breath is life, right? Our breath sustains our life. Without breathing, we wouldn't live. But they say that most humans use only 40% of lung capacity. 40%, right? Because we're unconsciously breathing all day long. So imagine if we start to tap into our breath and we start to breathe consciously, how much more alive we'll feel. So when you connect to that, when you to like the things that you could smell, connect also to how it feels to breathe
Hmm.
without forcing. I need to do any special techniques, breathing techniques. Just connect to the sensation of breath. Notice how good it feels to breathe. And that inhale is amazing, yes. But what about the exhale? The exhale is everything we need. You got to deplete, you want to empty, you want to clear, you want to cleanse, you want to let go, not just pull in, fill up, 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 up. Let it out, let it out, let it out, let it out. And let the inhale happen naturally and on its own. And taste buds, right? Rub your tongue on the roof of your mouth. Awaken, awaken. I would say that just tapping into our five senses is enough to bring us to back to where we are and how we are. And this is where we start here.
This is beautiful. I think this
Yay.
is the most thorough response I've ever received.
Whoa.
And I know that when we were talking about coming on this podcast, there was a meditation that you wanted to share. I felt like this
We just did it.
was such an incredible like this is an act of meditation. And I know we
Yeah.
spoke about awareness, anything you do with awareness. And I could only imagine what an incredible mother you are if this is a thing that you are sharing with the listener. Imagine, like, we all say, I wish I was starting this work when I was like in first grade. And I always share how, like, really a dream of mine is to build a curriculum for children. Because I don't know if you
Okay.
know, in first grade, when I was in first grade, I was
Okay.
supposed to be held back. I was born blind.
Born blind.
I was born blind. And so I was really behind in reading. And my parents took me to Toys R Us. They stop in the parking lot and say, listen, you're going to be held back a grade, but you're going to be getting as much, like you're going to be making double the amount of friends. So you're going to have so many friends, and we're going to take you to Toys R Us, and it's going to be amazing. And I was like, no, no, like I don't want to be held back. That means you're stupid. I'm not stupid. And I remember the next day, it was a Monday, I, long story short, went to the principal's office and told her that she can't leave me back, that I was too smart, and that it would be really bad if she did that, that I was going to be very unhappy. And she called my parents and said, listen, she's very mature. I think we'd be doing a disservice if we held her back. If you get her tutored in reading all summer, we'll let her go to second grade. And for me, subconsciously, that did so much good for me because it made me realize that no matter what anybody said, I could still do it. Double-edged sword though, because growing up when people would be like, I'd always be called the dumb blonde. I was very blonde as a kid. It motivated me. It was always like, okay, well, you're wrong. Gonna be like the smartest one in the room, going to take all the AP classes, gonna go to like do all these things. But imagine in our curriculums for kids, they were taught things like self-confidence. They were taught things like imagine, like tap into that creativity because if you do, that's your portal for ideas, right? Instead of saying like, you get a 65 because these are all the things that you did wrong, let's focus on the things that you did right because this is where your interests are. This is what came natural to you. And I think these are really important tools to incorporate into childhood development, into learning. And imagine what types of people we'd be today if from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, we were encouraged to go after all the things that we were not only naturally good at, but we were actually interested in. Nobody capped us. You didn't get called out because you weren't paying attention in reading, because you were looking outside at the deer that walked by, right? I think
I can relate so much to everything that you're saying. I I was the child in the back of the classroom who was always told that I was stupid. Like, I'm not going anywhere. I'm never going to get anywhere. I used to put my feet up on the desk. They used to call my mother and tell her that I was no good for nothing. And I used to stare outside of the window of my classroom, dreaming of any place other than this. And I didn't start my educational career until I graduated high school. I was like, oh, what am I interested in? I
Mhm.
never had the opportunity to explore anything that I was interested in. And quite frankly, what they were teaching in the classroom, I was just not interested in. And so I feel, as somebody who went through that, that I need to do better for my children because I believe that every person was created in their unique way, in their different way, to fulfill a different purpose. And I don't believe in putting children into a box to make them be like everybody else or to memorize things to to call them like successful, like with a grade.
Mhm.
That doesn't create a whole person. And I saw the effects of it to my daughter. She was just like me, not doing well in school, and here's two words because you can't remember anything anyway, so just we feel bad for you. Just get no, no. I saw this butterfly in her. I saw so much beauty in her. I saw the intelligence in her, but they weren't bringing it out in her. So I had to find an alternate route, and then that was the hardest part is because we want to go the same direction as everybody else just because it's easier, and we want to do what everybody else is doing, but like I wasn't going to lose my child for that. I needed to find something else for her, and I did. I found a Montessori school for her. She went from fourth grade to eighth grade. She just graduated last year, and within 3 months I saw a different girl awakening. She was inspired. She felt confident because they believed in her. Like anything was possible. It wasn't ever, nothing was ever a no, this is not for you. It's, oh, that's interesting that you think that way. Let's hear more about that. And then I remember the interview, her first interview when we went to the school, she was like, "You care what I think?" It was the
Mm-hmm.
first time anybody asked her, how do you feel and what do you think about that? I think that children are so intelligent, and I think that we as adults need to listen to them more. They know the way.
Mm-hmm.
They know the way. So I'm very much connected to my children and their needs and giving them the tools and that they need to succeed. And if that means changing their environment and changing their schools, then I'm not afraid to do so. I believe in building a whole person, not just give, grades. Grades doesn't define anybody.
And you've really
So,
touched on like how it might feel easier to go where the pack's
yeah,
going, but the truth is it's not. We tell
so
ourselves that. We tell ourselves it's easier if I just do that, but think about everything you're sacrificing. Your happiness. Like when people are complaining to me that life is so hard, no, it's not. You're just not doing the things that light you up. There's gonna
well,
be
maybe
hard moments,
we were taught life is
right?
hard. Life, why do I have to teach anybody that life is hard? Life is beautiful. Life is kind. Life is gracious. Everything that we need, we have. If you need an extra helping hand, let's find it. Let's work together. Let's find a way. I don't believe that we should feed our children that nonsense.
It's so important what you feed your children, not even food, but the beliefs, because it's the programming they'll run on. 0 to 6, they say 0 to 14 if we're being generous. It's what makes up a child's, a person's entire reality. It's the beliefs you run on.
Yes. Yeah, and also when it came to like friends, right? Because like now she's leaving the
Huge
school.
thing.
Well, I'm not going to have any friends. Nobody's going to like me. I'm like, that's also nonsense. You are always going to have the friends that you have. They're not going anywhere, and you're not going anywhere. Your true friends are never going to leave you. This is an opportunity to expand your friend circle. I don't
Hmm.
know about you, but I grew up very sheltered, believing that the four friends that I had was the only people in the world that I could be friends with. And I felt like that limited me, and so like making beautiful connections with so many people because I was stuck. I don't know. I was like stuck in a bubble.
So one thing I definitely think my parents did right is I was in gymnastics since 2 years old.
Okay.
And in gymnastics, I went to aerials gymnastics. I did not go with my friends from school. It was just me and all of these people that went to different schools.
Right.
And when we'd go away, like I'd hang out with whatever kids were there,
Yeah.
right? It wasn't like I didn't really think much of it.
Yeah.
And I remember being in middle school and the teacher sitting us down and being like, these are your friends for life. And I told her, I was like, no. What are you talking about? Like, I have so many other friends that aren't in this room right now. So I think it's really important to diversify in a
Yeah.
healthy way.
Yeah. And exposure is not always a bad thing. Like, right. We
No.
feed fear. Like, oh, if you expose yourself to that circle, it's going to lead you in the wrong direction. Like, why? Maybe if I expose myself to the way other people live differently than how I live, maybe that will make me more grateful for the way that I live. maybe that would make me more connected to my religion, to my, to my surroundings, to my people. But just because I recognize that people live differently, maybe it'll bring me more closer, not further. Why are we always feeding the fear?
I don't know if you remember, Nomi, but back in the day, I remember when I was young, it was a huge thing. Like you're going to yoga, that's like practicing,
Taboo.
right? Like that
Yeah,
is not even like that's a religion. You can't do
yeah,
that. Like you're doing, and now it's become so normal. But really, what that was fear turning into judgment. It's let's keep everybody in a circle so that you don't go there. It's scary. Or you'll hear people like say, don't go to college, don't, do these things because, like you're saying, fear. But what
yeah,
if you go and you learn so much? And I think everything's balanced, right? You have to have the right home and the right
yeah,
backbone and
yeah,
beliefs. You
yeah,
need a system in place that's
yeah.
always going to catch you, but you shouldn't always be fearful to get out of your comfort zone.
100%. And also, like now being a parent and raising kids, now my kids are teenagers, like my older ones are teenagers. Yeah, they're going out into the world, right? And they're going to make the decisions that they're going to make for themselves. So I do my part. I instill the values that I feel are important. Um, I hope that they are confident enough to make the right decisions. But ultimately, once they're out of my home and in life, that's them on their own making those decisions. So I pray, for their protection. I pray for their thing, but I hope that the values that I instill and that is rooted within them, that they're connected to their intuition to make those decisions
Hmm.
when that time comes.
Hmm.
And that goes for them, and it also goes for me, for the decisions that I make, for the paths that I am choosing. I feel like as long as we're connected to our intuition and to our hearts, I don't believe that it'll lead us in the wrong direction. I believe that it'll lead us where we're meant to be.
Hmm. And circling back on your mission, what is next for you?
Haha. um, I don't know. I have no idea. But I am curious and I am open and I'm excited.
Is there a piece of wisdom you'd like to share with the listener? Something that maybe really changed the way you look at the world and you interact with the world?
But nobody gives a shit.
I love that though. I get
Like,
that.
okay, so the reason why I say that is because for so many years I spent too much time inside my head, worried about what people are thinking about me, or am I wearing the right outfit, or do I belong here, or what they thinking about me. And what I learned is that most people are busy in their own minds thinking about their own problems and their own outfit and their own insecurities. So once I learned that, I was like, oh, I could be free now. Like when you're not feeling like you're being judged and you recognize that people are actually, in fact, busy inside their own minds as well, I can be who I need to be, how I need to be. It was like so liberating.
Oh,
I don't know if
liberating.
I don't know if that's wisdom or that's just
It is wisdom. It is wisdom. Nobody gives a shit. Like, I remember somebody once told me something while I was hysterical crying. I thought the world was ending. And they said, Vivian, I don't know what you're going through. I just want you to know it's not that serious.
right.
And for me, I thought that what I was going through was the serious, the most
Uh,
serious. And sometimes we feel like we need to be serious in order to be important, in
uh,
order to be focused, when in reality, it's when you're having fun and you're being light and you're being confident that all the things, the results that we've been wanting, the manifestations, the
right.
success comes through. But we've trained our minds from when we were very little, maybe from like seeing our parents get ready for work, right? It was always very serious. They come,
Serious.
right? So we like
Yeah.
attach the two to serious means important.
Right.
And I
Or
love,
successful.
right.
Yeah, no, yeah. I love to connect to the inner child. I feel like that's also part of the work.
Yeah.
I feel like I am an old soul, but I'm also very much just like a child. And I feel like my best work is when I'm connected to the inner child from that playful place from that curious place, from that exciting place, like we're looking at something for the first time, not as like this serious, like judge, like let's figure this out. Like, no. I want to play, I want to build. If it falls apart, great, let's rebuild it again. Like I just feel my best when I'm connected to the inner child within, that playful, curious. Um,
And I think that's
yeah,
what makes you very strong, not necessarily physically, but energetically.
cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
A lot of people feel like if this falls apart, that's the end. But to say like we get to build it again and maybe with even a more aligned perspective now that we've gone through it once, right? It's resilience, it's strength. Before I let you go, a question that I ask everybody on the podcast is if you were to go for dinner with anybody dead or alive, fictional or real, who would it be? And where would you go and what would you eat?
Okay, I'm just gonna answer the first thing that came to my head. Okay,
Yes.
Wonder Woman.
Love that. Okay, I need to hear why.
Okay, I like superheroes. Like I'm a big fan of superhero movies.
Hmm.
But Wonder Woman, I like her the most because she doesn't fight her battles with violence. She fights it with her words, with her beliefs. And something that struck struck a chord within me and stayed within me is when she says that love is the only thing that will truly save our world. And for some reason, I believe her.
I do too.
I I love is an interesting thing, right? And it could be so twisted and so demented, but I feel like the source of all of life is unconditional love. The
Hmm.
God that I believe in is all loving. Like we are always on the receiving side because God is always giving. And if you look around at the beauty of the world, like not the chaos of the world, but the actual beauty of the world, like how could it not be coming from love? Like so, I would like to talk to Wonder Woman about that sentence that love is the only thing that will truly save our world. And I want to know more about that. I want to stay connected to that unconditional loving energy.
Have you read A Course in Miracles?
No, but I'm a believer in miracles.
It's a very dense book.
Okay.
There's workshop books out of it because it's very, very hard to like sit and really read it,
Okay.
but it's screaming your name. If you
Okay.
can, just like look it up. Look it
So
up, like planting the
text it to
seed.
me. Text it to
Planting the
me
seed.
later. I'm gonna Amazon it and get it.
Planting the seed.
I'm in the mood for a new book.
It's yeah, it's a lot. Um, it's big. It's like this thick and it's incredible. Like if you could really like lean in and tap in, it's incredible. I'm not gonna lie. It took me 2 years to read.
Wow.
Because it just each sentence is like you want to integrate and like let me really understand that.
Okay. I like that. Thank
So
you.
I'm gonna send that to you. What would you eat with her?
Huh. Maybe sushi.
Okay. I mean, she could fly you to Japan, so you could have the best
Yeah.
sushi.
That's it. I'm just on the fly, like, right? I'm not gonna sit here and think what do I want to eat. Sushi.
Right. It doesn't
Sounds good.
matter. Right.
I'm saying yes.
All
Yes,
right.
baby.
Oh my goodness. Well, thank you so much for being on the podcast.
Thank you. Thank you for reaching out. Thank you for your interest in me.
I'm so excited to just see what you end up doing because I know whatever it is, it's going to blow up. Your heart is there.
My heart is here. And my if I could get a tattoo, it would say Hineni.
Ooh, it's so funny that you say that because I always think about what I would get if I got a tattoo. But here you are.
Here I am. Not I am here, but here I am.
Wow. And why?
Because I'm showing up. Here
Heck,
I am.
what are you
God,
showing?
whatever you created me for, whatever I'm here to do, here I am. I'm willing, I'm ready, and I'm able, and I'm saying yes.
I love this. I think this is so powerful. And whatever that thing is it's supposed to be, don't think too hard because I think sometimes we look so hard for our purpose. Sometimes it's like smack, it's right in front of us, right under our nose, everywhere that we're looking.
Wherever you are, there you are.
Hmm.
So I'm here.
Hey, if you like this podcast episode, please download it, give us a nice review, and follow us on Instagram at Journey with VRD to get all the latest and the greatest updates. Till next week.